From their athleticism and competitiveness, motherhood to the push for social justice and change, the women in the W never cease to amaze. And we've got you covered from courtside to the outside. This is the Hardwood 94. Let's tip off. Welcome to the Hardwood 94. I'm your host, Jackie Ray. Now, it feels pretty amazing to witness the generational talent known as A'ja Wilson. It seems there is nothing this young woman can't do, and she isn't even in her prime, which has to be scary to opposing teams around the league. Thus far, the league belongs to the Las Vegas Aces, and it feels like we could be witnessing a dynasty in the making. Under the direction of head coach Becky Hammon, the Aces could really break several records and can keep the excitement in the league, which is necessary for it to grow. As exciting as that is, here is my problem. For 2 years, I've heard Commissioner Kathy Engelberg stress the importance of rivalries around the league. So where is the WNBA marketing around that, especially the rivalry that's brewing between A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart? Television-wise, you finally have an East-West rivalry between the Stewie-led New York Liberty and the Aces led by A'ja Wilson. This is perfect and exactly what the league needs. It's similar to what the NBA had with Magic and Bird, or even LeBron and Kobe. If you want to grow this league, the fans not only want parity, but a rivalry that feels authentic and is something they can connect with. And guess what? The Commissioner's Cup is on August 15th. Who is going to battle that out? A'ja and Stewie. Who is once again in the battle for MVP? A'ja and Stewie. Come on, WNBA. Don't keep staring a gift horse in the mouth, because that horse will ride off into the sunset. Trust me. Now, throughout the week, I'm always looking at games, stories, and frequently looking at social media, and I saw something that piqued my interest. We talk about the popularity of the league a lot, and we see how the numbers are improving for viewership, which is great, but we haven't seen those numbers consistently translate to people wanting to see a game in person and pack out arenas throughout the league. But if there is one player I think could save the league and create more excitement than Donald Trump getting indicted, oh yes. It's none other than LSU national champion Angel Reese. The popularity that the women's game has at the college ranks has yet to cross over to the pros, but with her sensational looks, incredible playing style, and increasing popularity, Angel Reese will definitely take the W by storm and can be the catalyst that finally bridges the gap between college and pros. But she has to be on a team that understands her shine and is willing to exploit it to the benefit of the team and fans. So while I understand the nostalgia that would come from seeing Reese go from LSU purple and gold to Sparks purple and gold, I need y'all in the Twitter space to stop trying to send that young woman to a team that is nowhere close to being able to handle or cultivate what could be a generational talent. I'm going to get into that more later, but up next, in case you missed it, check out my exclusive interview with Showtime host and veteran journalist, Rachel Nichols.
My name is Chelsea Gray, and you're watching Hardwood 94.
Welcome back to the Hardwood 94, and thank you guys so much for engaging with us on our social media platforms. You asked for it, so we are once again bringing you my exclusive interview with sports journalist and Showtime host, Rachel Nichols. Check it out. Jackie Ray here with the legendary Rachel Nichols. I'm so glad to have a moment to speak with you. You're here for this amazing film.
Yeah.
What have you seen it already? What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. There's not a lot of documentaries you see in sports where you don't at least know some of what's going on, right? And Wilt Chamberlain for so long has been this name that NBA fans know. He's got, I think, every record known to man. But frankly, he's just a name, right? He's a name with a bunch of numbers next to it and maybe some grainy footage and a photo. And that's what you know about him. You don't really know about him personally. You don't know his story. You don't have a sense of what those accomplishments meant because you didn't really see them. They're not in the modern era of video. So to have a documentary that legit dives into who this person was, what he did, it's a gift if you're a sports fan because you kind of know everything about everyone else. You don't know about this guy. And he's one of the totems. He's one of the greats. So that's pretty amazing.
It's interesting to me that a lot of players in the NBA truly fight against racism and they're pushing for change. And Wilt was definitely doing that.
Yep.
But a lot of them don't know about him. So what would you tell them about this film and why they should watch it?
I mean, look, for anyone, it's important to see whose shoulders you're standing on, right? Who came before you, what they had to fight through, how you can continue that legacy. I know as a woman, and you know also as a woman who works in this field, there's a ton of women that we know paved the way for us.
Right.
That they didn't want girls covering sports. They didn't want women in this arena having these conversations. And it's important to know those people that enabled you to do what you're doing and build on it. Because if you're starting from scratch, you don't need to. You can start from what they're doing. So I appreciate the fact that so many of today's NBA players do want to learn about the Wilt Chamberlains or the Bill Russells, because I think we have such an engaged generation where, I started following the NBA in the Jordan era, where the line always attributed to him was what, Republicans wear sneakers too?
Right.
And that's very different than today's NBA players. They get out in front, they are standing up for what they believe, they want social change, they want equity. And I think that, seeing this kind of film is going to be very educational for them too.
Yeah. Now, as a woman, you know how hard it is to get in this sports arena. I'm a Black woman. I know how it's even harder. And you were wrapped up in a situation with that, and you spoke about it. Tell me how you feel about it now, looking back, now that you have some distance from it.
Well, look, I have so much respect for what you are doing. There is no question that it is harder being a person of color in this world than it is being a white person in America. Like, that's just a fact. So I want to always have respect for that and never want to say anything that would imply I feel differently. I have a pretty long track record that demonstrates that's how I feel. I'm not a fan of someone taking 20 seconds of a 30-minute conversation and mashing it together to make something look like it wasn't, but that's okay. That's how the world works, and that's media. And I just have to have faith, and I think it's been rewarded that people know who I am. And that's been fun about, the players that want to sit down for interviews with me, or the guys at Showtime who want to work with me. That was the rewarding part of a, frankly, pretty difficult experience of people saying, you've got 20 years of history here. That's what we're going on. And that felt pretty good. So I'll just every day try to get better and take it as it comes.
I feel like as women, though, we do have to go through difficult situations and just embrace the moment sometimes, right? And go with it.
100%. And the scrutiny is going to be different, and the standards are going to be different, and stuff that, frankly, I've seen male colleagues of mine, people haven't given a second look to. You and I have to deal with differently, and frankly, you have to deal with differently than I do. So I think it's just always important to remember that and keep fighting and know that progress moves forward. It's only gone in one direction so far. So that's the thing that when it gets really frustrating, I have faith in. Better than we were 10 years ago. Better than we were 20 years ago. I'm just going to keep pushing to make it there.
Now, you've been covering the NBA for a long time.
Yes.
Do you have some advice on how the WNBA could level up a little bit?
Well, I think what's interesting about the WNBA is that people don't really remember where the NBA was 20 years in, 25 years in. It wasn't on national TV. They didn't have live games. They didn't have the kind of media attention that they have now. The WNBA is actually ahead of the NBA in all those categories: national television deal, live games, salaries, endorsements. So while it can be very frustrating as a woman and someone who really, I have two daughters who they're into sports. I want them to succeed. I want them to have an even playing field. To be like, well, why isn't it all exactly even yet?
Right.
You have to I also do remember that it's a newer league, and that whether it's the soccer league, whether it's any other league, newer leagues take time to convince people and take hold. And I think the WNBA is off to a good start. And you have to appreciate the NBA for all the support and money that, frankly, they put into the NBA. So
I love that you took time to talk to me. I just have one final question. For all the young women that are out there and they are watching you and you have such an amazing career, give us a piece of advice for you.
All right. So always be the last person to turn out the light. Always work as hard as you can. It makes more of a difference than you know. And then when people don't want to give you a chance, the fact that you just keep showing up is the thing that I have found kind of breaks those gender barriers a little bit. But the other flip side of that I always tell young women is, I say, no is a complete sentence, no period. Because I think that women are asked to justify, if they do want to say no to something, they have to justify it, right?
Right.
No, I can't because, no, I, whatever. And you have to put forward those reasons for men to consider and see if they're good enough.
Right.
You don't have to do that. Say yes most of the time, because that's what will get you ahead. But if there's something that you don't want to do or you don't feel comfortable with, just say no. You don't have to say why. Say, oh, no, I'm actually not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I have to say. The boys do that. We can do it too.
I am personally saddened to share some unfortunate news that was released at the beginning of the week. My GOAT and current two-time WNBA champion and Aces forward Candace Parker revealed she had surgery on a fracture in her foot. Parker released a statement saying she's been playing with the pain the entire season. But she'll be rehabbing her way back to health as soon as possible. With the playoffs beginning September 13th, there could be a chance that Parker could return sometime during the postseason if all goes well. We wish you a speedy recovery, Candace. Until then, Ace's path to another championship just might have gotten a bit more difficult without their ace on the floor. But Asia says she's up for the challenge, and I am sure she will be getting some great advice from GOAT Parker along the way. The Dallas Wings are making a strong push towards the playoffs, and is it time to throw in the towel for the Los Angeles Sparks? We'll discuss that and more when we return. The Dallas Wings continue to make their presence felt on the court and throughout the league, thanks to the confident and reliable play of Satu Sabli, Arike Ogunbowale, and Natasha Howard. The Wings are flying high, especially after the All-Star break, and I love it. However, and you knew we had to go there is another team that is free-falling fast, and that is the Los Angeles Sparks, who can't find their way, even if it was staring them in the face. Between injuries, lineup changes, and people playing positions they've never played before, it begs a handful of questions, starting with, was Curt Miller the right coach for this team? And what happens with Nneka Ogwumike moving forward? And that takes me to Jackie Ray, what you say? I got to tell you, it really pains me to say this because I absolutely, positively love the LA Sparks. They're the team that cultivated my love for the WNBA, obviously, because I love Candace Parker. But what I've seen through the years is quite troubling. But we got to start at the foundation. If you go to Crypto, formerly Staples, there's no branding for the Sparks anywhere in that arena. There's nothing that shows that that ownership group is committed not only to the team, but to cultivating that fan base and making sure the city knows that the LA Sparks are here and knows that that is a franchise that they can invest in with their money and their fandom. Nneka Ogwumike is such a regal player. She shows grace to all her teammates, and I think, although it pains me to say this, I think she might be showing too much grace to the LA Sparks, and I'm going to eat my words a little bit because I was one of the people that said she had to come back to LA because I know she is the foundation for the team. But I think I might have been wrong about that because in order for her to come back, the team really had to build around her. They had to know that she's the foundation of the team and put pieces around her that could help contend for a title, not a whole bunch of guards that you have to transition in and out of playing positions they've never played before. I did an interview post-game not too long ago, and I asked Dearica Hamby, what is the plan for this team right now? And she said, pass the ball to Nneka. That's a problem. Because if Nneka has a great game and scores over 30 points, the Sparks could lose. If she has a bad game, they will definitely lose. She has to understand that although I know she's loyal to this team and maybe even her sister, she has to worry about self. This is not one of those teams that you have to say, I can invest more time in. So while I am happy that she only did a one-year deal, and I know a lot of teams don't make trades before the trade deadline, I really am going to start this hashtag. I've already done it on Twitter, so I'm going to say it here as well. Hashtag free Nneka Ogwumike. I don't think we should wait to the end of her contract. I think out of respect, we got to let her go now and let her go someplace where she has a chance. Maybe not right now. Maybe not right out the gate she has a chance at a championship, but she has a chance to start building towards one. So I'm just going to throw it out there. I know they have the worst record in the league right now, but there's a lot of mitigating circumstances with that. So I'm going to say, you know what I'm going to say, the Phoenix Mercury. I said it during the All-Star break. This whole Brittany Griner and Nneka Ogwumike together, that is a winning combination. And I think anything right now, unfortunately, is better than the LA Sparks. And that is Jackie Ray, what you say. That's our show for this week. The game is over, and thank you for watching the Hardwood 94. Be sure to subscribe and watch us on youtube.com/NH Experience TV. I'm your host, Jackie Ray, and we'll see you next time.